First frame, Tom Cousins to break. Time running.
Good morning everyone and welcome to the Supreme Pool Series Grand Final. This is finals day and here we are. What a match this is. What a lineup. There's some great matches already underway in the arena, but this one, 3 world titles between them. Phil Harrison won it back in 2009. Tom Cousins, 2 times world champion, and they've drawn each other in the last 16. I'm joined on commentary by Steve Jameson. How you doing, Steve?
Very good, thanks, Nick.
Yeah,
good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. So, what do you think about this game?
Well, it's definitely a star-studded event and wonderful tables, wonderful setup here at the Players Pool Lounge in Newcastle-under-Lyme.
Couldn't have picked a much more of a blockbuster draw. This has got a final written all over it, hasn't it? These two would have met so many times during their years on the EPA.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what their record's like between the two of them. But I can't imagine there's very much in it. 2 of the best players ever to grace a pool table. And it was an obvious pick for the main arena. I mean, it was probably cliche, but as soon as that one came out of the draw, how can you pick another game over this one? And Tom Cousins with a lovely break in the first. And actually, these two have both got huge breaks, haven't they?
Yeah.
I mean, Tom, known as one of the biggest breakers in the game. I mean, I think Phil probably earlier in his career probably struggled a bit with his break, but he's kind of manufactured this break where he's able to transfer the power. He's got a really interesting break actually. When you watch him, he kind of lifts his body to allow the arm to come through. And you'd think that he wouldn't get the same sort of time and accuracy, but he still manages to generate a lot of power. And often the cue ball, albeit it kind of finds its way across to the side, but it always hits around about the same place. If you watch his cue ball, most frames it tends to hit kind of between the bulk line and the centre pocket on the left hand rail.
Yeah. And he kind of pauses as he's standing up.
Yeah.
Before he delivers the cue, which is quite bizarre.
Yeah. It's very much a hybrid break, but it's obviously one that he's developed over the years. And Phil is a big worker on his game. He's got a table at home, and I know he practices a lot. He puts in a lot of time. He's very dedicated to it. When he knew he was coming to this event, I think he was probably one of the only players who's gone out and bought himself a shark rack, so he can actually practice with the shark rack. I remember, before the first event, one of the first events that Craig Marsh turned up to, Craig had sort of said, he'd never used one before. It was the first time he'd used one here. Where you come into a massive event, you'd think you'd, just be prepared on all the equipment. Yeah. And there we see Phil's break. Actually,
He's excellent.
Yeah, the cue ball actually has just come across to pretty much exactly the spot that I mentioned, but on the right-hand cushion. But you'll see it pretty much go to the same place every time. I think I remember Phil playing Mick Hill in a semi-final last year, and it was just break dish after break dish, and I think pretty much every one of Phil's cue balls landed in the same spot within about an inch, which is some accuracy. It shows the kind of timing he gets through it. And, people talk about the break. It's without doubt the most important shot of the game. It's setting you up for the match, and it can make or break you, can it?
It certainly can. It certainly if you don't get the ball off the break in this tournament, especially, it's very painful.
So you've flown across with Jake McCartney. You've flown over from Australia, but your accent kind of belies your nationality there. I think there's not too much Aussie in there.
No, it's I don't know where I'm from really sometimes. But there's Scottish, English, Australian.
There's a little tilt of Scotland in there, and there's a bit of Plymouth there as well.
That's right. Yeah. I played snooker as a kid professionally, and played in the same club as John Higgins in Glasgow.
Oh yeah.
And then played with Andy Hicks in Plymouth for a few years.
Yeah.
And then
Would that have been back in the kind of Mark Ball days as well? Because I know Mark used to play around about that sort of time when he was a young professional.
No, I didn't see much of Mark Boyle. I was playing when McManus was the top player up there. Yeah. And we had about 15 professionals playing in the same club, so it was a real special place to be able to play the game.
Remind me the name of the place. I think I know it. It's
the Masters Snooker Club in Denniston.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah. So Phil took the yellows here. This was always going to be the key shot on his last ball down the rail here for the black.
Yeah. And so many players we see try to move this awkward ball. I'm always an advocate for trying to land on it, especially when the black is where it is. You don't have to do too much with the cue ball. And Phil just showing that, especially on this kind of table where it's quite a slick cloth and the pockets are playing pretty big because of the lights. This should be it should be a gimme for someone of Phil's ability.
Oh no.
There you go. The old commentator's curse again.
That's it. I think a match of this stature, you know that it's going to be a long way back if you go 2-0 behind against Cousins, with Cousins breaking next.
And it's a game of such fine margins, isn't it?
It is, and I think on the first day of the comp, that ball would have probably dropped.
Yeah.
But because there's been quite a few matches
just playing
now.
a little bit tighter now, isn't it? So the plan for the red adjacent to the yellow, is he probably going to try and look at some kind of combination shot to maybe take the yellow out of the pocket?
I think he may try and move it off this bottom red near the black spot on this shot. He's got a natural angle to go into it. He'll still be on the one in the middle as long as he doesn't snooker himself behind the black. But yeah, I think he'll try and move this one.
He's going to screw across into just flicked it, and he's actually flipped it into a worse place.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky there.
And now the option of the skill shot isn't there, so I think. And now the red's also slightly more awkward to get out as well, isn't it? So he may have to try and manufacture something where he's trying to put the yellow over the cushion.
If the red nearest the white goes into the bottom left corner, he may opt to take it in there and leave the skill shot on the red nearest the ball cushion. I don't think it passes though.
And thanks very much to Rich Wharton, who's feeding me a bit of information about the two players. In their last two meetings, Tom went 6-1 up and Phil won 7-6. And then in the next one, Tom went 3-0 up and Phil won 7-4. So
that's interesting. So Tom's missed the extraction a second time there.
So Tom running out of options here.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have to double that ready-made. Choose to try and move it again now, possibly as a skill shot as well. But he might just take his medicine, Nick, and take these two on the left now and double the last red. Let's see what he does. He's gone for the extraction again.
Actually,
missed it for the third time.
He has. And I was just wondering if he'd left another angle to try and go into it again, but he hasn't. So he's running further and further into trouble. And as you say, he may be only left with a double.
Such a good long potter. I still fancy him to get this. That's a good hit. Just a shout out to all the Australian watchers.
Yeah, they'll be watching with interest. A really good deep run from Jake this time.
That's right, he had a lovely finish against Gareth Hibbett last night.
And he did indeed have to go for the double, and he's come up short, and that's going to cost him the frame. This will quickly be one apiece.
Now, this shot looks absolutely simple, but the way these tables play, the bed of the cloth is so fast. It's actually not the easiest shot. And as you can see, he's hardly touched that. Played it well.
And one each it is, and Tom pays the price for not being able to try and move that red out. As I say, from where it was, it looked, I mean, it looked like it was a reasonable skill shot, or combination shot. Obviously choosing against it, trying to move it, and as I say, cost him the frame. So good morning to everybody. A few shout outs to do. One to Ryan Broad. Good morning to you, sir. I hope you're well. Also, good morning to all of the lads from Lincoln that we spent some good time with last week at the Moscone Cup. Good morning to you all. I hope you're well, and thanks for showing us a good time and good company over there. And as we say, good morning to everyone tuning in from overseas. You know, it's probably silly o'clock in certain places. What time is it over in Oz at the moment? It's about 11 at night, 10 at night?
It's 10:30 p.m.
10:30, okay.
Yeah.
Not too bad then.
Yeah, all the Aussie folks will be tuning in to see the score update from Jake McCartney. I think Jake's game's streamed on another table, isn't it?
Yeah. I know people will be tuning in from Morocco and from Malta, from France. We always have a good contingent, so hope you're all enjoying the action. Let us know, in fact, where you are tuning in from. It'd be good to hear from you. And also, if you would be so kind, if you could share the stream across social media, just to make sure that everyone gets an opportunity to watch this game. As I'm speaking, I shall send it across to some of the usual websites, but if you could also do the same, it would be a great help. It won't take too long, but it will also help us throughout the day to get this game and the subsequent games out.
I think Tom will probably go for the yellows here, and I think he'll try and extract his dead yellow in the shot after this. If you can get an angle on one of the middle pocket balls. He's taken his extension. All the players have one extension per frame on the shot clock. And he's thinking about taking reds here. This is surprising, but he's obviously got a plan. I'm pretty shocked he's gone reds there, Nick.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the two tied up on the left-hand rail.
You must think this red goes past the yellow.
Yeah.
Doesn't look a give me.
Ah, okay. There was a plan there, just using the rules.
Very smart shot, actually.
Yeah. Shows a good understanding and knowledge of the rules.
Yeah, just loss of turn if you pot your opponent's ball with your own ball. And it definitely shortens the frame times a bit. You don't have those extended periods of covering pockets like you do in the other rule set.
Yeah. They're definitely a more attacking rule set. Wonder, can he get through to the red and play it off the yellow? I don't know if there's enough gap past the black to be able to do that.
I think he can, but I'm not sure it's a percentage shot. He may not have too many options, though. It's a good shot from Phil.
Yeah, the one thing that's very noticeable about both of these players, having watched them over the years, is they're both very, very good tacticians as well, which you'd expect coming from the world rules background. I mean, these aren't necessarily a tactical rule set, but they are able to use them to their advantage. They've got a really deep understanding of the rules, even though this rule set's quite new to the scene.
This is a tricky shot on these cloths as well. The white just flies off the bed of the table, and he's left this on for Tom, I think.
I wonder if Tom can get through to the potting angle on this. If he can pot it, and then maybe leave an angle on the red on the left side cushion that's closest to us to try and double to middle, and then break everything out. It may be probably a bit too risky at this stage, because it's like, you're throwing all your eggs in one basket, and if it doesn't come off, then you're losing the frame.
It's a nice containing safety.
But at some point, somebody's going to have to develop those balls on the left-hand side. Definitely advantage Tom at the moment. He's not forced into doing anything.
I think he'll play the same shot again, just a little bit slower this time. He'll want to get the snooker. Oh no, he's gone for that side.
So he's given Tom an opportunity to get one of the reds out from the side if he wishes to. You could just bump one out just to move it out and leave the cue ball on the top cushion.
Yeah, it looks like the way. It's pretty good.
Yeah. And given another chance, he'll try and move the other one that's just below the yellow. So slowly he's just trying to develop his position.
Yeah. Phil gonna just bring his yellow out and try and put the white somewhere near the black. That's a good shot. That's spot on. Tom's not got many options here, Nick. He's just going to try and hit cushion first on the left-hand side. Just tickle his red closer to the yellow. Oh, no, he's going a different way. Be looking to try and just push this red near the pocket. Oh, that's a good shot.
That's a great result. Very nice.
Yeah, he was trying to push the red closer to the pocket there, but he's had a better result, I think, with this outcome. Yeah, this is an extremely well-run event. I've played a lot of tournaments, and this has definitely got some of the best organising and streaming and sponsorships. It's really quite an awesome event.
Don't say too much about that, because one of the organisers just walked in the room, and he's old Ebenezer Scrooge over there counting his money. We don't want to big him up too much. He's literally walked in with a carrier bag of it.
Yeah, Lee Grout is his name.
It is. One of the co-organisers with Lee Kendall. Yeah, you're right, they have done a great job over the last 2 years.
Yeah, I first saw Lee's name when watching Crime Stoppers a few years ago. He's come a long way since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom in control of this frame at the moment. I wonder if Phil will take the risk in trying to chop that yellow under the red and put the white up near his traffic at the bottom end. Obviously quite risky, but I don't think he's got too many options here. What's he doing?
He must have a touching ball.
Hmm.
I didn't hear the call, but it must have been a touching ball. I think that must be another one. Yeah. So we're just, I think, just going to see. I think the cue ball's jammed in there, so it's probably touching the cushion as well. So he needs to play away, but he also needs to hit a cushion as well. So you can't just run up into the... It's a clever little shot from Phil, because I don't think you can play into the yellow delicately enough to not open it up.
Yeah,
because any touch on there, I mean, he's just showing now that, yeah, he's going to have to. Well, that really is a top shot.
That's a great shot.
He's almost unlucky to pot his red there. He won't mind it, but that really was a.
Yeah, that was a super shot. I think he can get the snooker on his bottom.
Yeah.
Top left red.
I mean, he may. I don't think he will, but he may elect to attack from here.
That yellow was going in as well.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a bit fortunate. He's got the red to middle if he wants to, but I don't think it pays a lot of dividends. The cue ball is coming away, so he's just going to...
He's going to play a shot to nothing here, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's...
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I'm surprised he's had a dip at that.
Yeah, me too. I don't think there was any need to attack from there.
You could have just rolled up to that red and snookered him again.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, I don't think there was any need to attack from there. He could have retained control of the frame.
This is a big positional shot here. I think he's going to try and get the gap between the black and the yellow. Or just land under the yellow at the bottom left. Oh, wow.
Goodness me.
There's a bit of tension out there.
There isn't there ever. I mean, how often do you see Phil miss a ball in open play? So, good morning to all you guys watching on YouTube.
It's a lovely chance here for a 2-1 lead. Very interesting, Tom doesn't put his tip close to the white ball when he addresses the shot. It's a couple of inches behind the white ball. It's quite an unusual thing.
So I know there's a few people in the chat box asking questions of Shane Thompson, but it's not Shane on commentary, it's Steve. Fancy being mistaken for Shane Thompson.
I know.
So let's. Oh my! Look at the scoreline there for Dylan Leary, Sean Chipperfield. I got to say, I thought Dylan was value in that game. I almost put him into an accumulator because I think he was a decent price against Chippy, and he's just had an amazing weekend. So Greg Batten just 3-2 down against David McNamara.
Yeah. The Liverpudlian David's going well this week.
Ryan Clark is having a super weekend. He beat Dejan Gresh yesterday in the losers qualification in a Hill game, and now he's 3-1 up there against Scott Gillespie.
What was the score with Boyle McCartney?
McCartney, that's a good question. I can find out. It was pretty close.
No, Jake McCartney.
It is Mark Ball's 3-1 up.
Okay.
And Adam Davis is 3 each with Ronan McCarthy.
That match has got Hill written all over it.
Yeah. And Jack Whelan 4-2 up on Johan Attard. But yeah, there's so the two kind of I guess you'd say the two outsiders in the field, without any disrespect to them, would probably be David McNamara and Ryan Clark, but they're both winning in their respective matches at the moment. So,
yeah.
I mean, and I only say outsiders from a betting perspective. If the bookmaker's pricing it up, he's going to have those as the and probably Johan Attard as well, I would imagine. And Johan is currently 4-2 down against Jack Whelan.
Yeah. Phil's just played a pretty average positional shot, so he's just going to use the rules to play a tactical shot. Tom's going to have a go at this long red. Maybe not. He's just giving Phil a tempter here, but Phil's going to just try and stay in control with the safety. Tom with a few safety options here. May just roll the red on the bottom over the pocket. I think he's looking to try and promote one or two of his reds on the left side off this shot and try and keep a safe white close to that bottom yellow. He's running out of time, so he's taking the extension. He's opted for the attacking option there, which surprises me. These are far from easy.
No, they are. He's got a lot of work to do here. It's
Is the double on?
No, but
it's a bit fortunate there from Tom. I think Phil will probably just pop the red on the bottom left and leave the white on the yellow. Don't think he's got too many more options.
again, Phil using the rules well, and that's a clever little shot. He's just covered the potting angle to the one past the black, and well,
yeah, I think he's forcing Tom's hand a bit here.
Yeah. Wow, that went.
Mm.
I didn't, for a second, it's often unusual with the camera angles, it just foreshortens slightly, but I didn't for a second think that one went. I wonder what he was queuing at for a second. I thought he'd spotted some kind of safety, and I'm thinking, where's safe on this table?
I wonder if he'll opt to play the face cut double on the bottom right red with the heap of right hand side on the white ball to try and get across for his other balls.
Yeah.
Or is he just going to pot it natural? Oh, that's a great shot.
Goodness me. He wiped his feet on the way in, but
I don't think he's got anything here, Nick.
No. No, I don't think.
I think the double's blocked. He's going to have to pull out his magic tricks here.
Yeah. He's going to have to get the spell book out.
Back, maybe the back double.
Yeah, possibly, but I mean, how does that even benefit you? Because you still.
Surely not the plant.
He's gone for the heave ho. they call that the old heave ho.
Calling all pockets.
Yeah, and I can't blame him, to be honest. It was desperate stakes, and basically, it's one of them. Try to get lucky, and if you can't get lucky, you forfeit the frame. So just taking his time. The one at the top of the table. It's one of those, isn't it? As a club player, these always look like gimmies, but because they're just on that left-hand rail, you've still got to cue them really well. You take these for granted, but they are still they're missable. Not at this level, but for us mere mortals, or
he's played that well.
Yeah,
he was just he just wanted to not leave his white on the rail there.
Yeah.
Looks like 2 frames all.
Indeed, it is, and that was a real ding-dong battle. Could have gone either way. Nice to see a tactical frame occasionally.
Yeah, you don't see too many of them with these rules.
No. So 2 frames apiece. Phil just running out there for a quick bathroom break, and you can see the updated scores. Greg Batten's won the next 2 frames and now leads David McNamara by 4-3. Ryan Clark's still ahead of Scott Gillespie, but Scott's pulled one back. Gareth Hibbett's stretching his legs there against Jimmy Croxton, and now leads by 5 frames to 2. You wouldn't write Gareth off in this one.
Oh no.
He's not featured too much in the latter stages of the event so far, but there he is, 5-2 up on Jimmy, and this is Jimmy's home venue. I got to say, I just edged Jimmy just because it is his home venue, and he's had a couple of deep runs already this season, so
yeah.
I kind of edged him in that game. But Gareth,
I watched Hibbett play. I've not seen too much of Hibbett personally. I know he's an accomplished player, but
yeah.
He played very well against Jake McCartney last night, and was Jake had to play his best to get over the line 11-10.
Yeah, one of my favourite players actually. He's I mean, without any disrespect to Gaz, you kind of see him, and he's obviously one of the more senior players, even though he's not that old. I think he's still under 50. But you kind of see the grey hair, and you think, oh, he's a tactical fudger, and he gets on the table and just blasts you away. He's such an aggressive player.
Is he?
Oh, he's so attacking. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him play a safety shot. He's really, really aggressive player.
Someone told me he made 2 maximums back to back on snooker.
He did, yeah.
That's remarkable.
Earlier this year, he was playing in a league match. It wasn't even a practice game; it was a league match.
No way.
And made back-to-back maximums.
That's ridiculous.
He's an amazing curist. He plays 9-ball. He obviously plays snooker to a very high standard. He plays Chinese. He's been over to China and played over there. And obviously, has been a world champion. I think he was world champion back in 2015, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Or was that Jack Whelan's year? I can't remember now. It's 2015 or 2016. Yeah, I think it may have been 2016. And then the following year, he won. I think he won 2 world championships. He won the doubles and the seniors, I think, in the same year. Yeah, I think it was a 2016. Yeah, double world champion. He won the doubles and the main event, and then the following year, 2017, I think he won the doubles.
So it looks like Phil's set stall out to win this frame and this visit. Just that dodgy red on the left.
Yeah, and looks like he's trying to leave an angle here.
That's a great shot.
Yeah.
To land fat on that red is very, very good.
So
a couple more inches and this extraction wasn't on.
Yeah. So looking to go cushion first, come up inside that red.
That's good.
Oh, that's...
He's unlucky.
Yeah,
He's still got a shot though.
He does have a shot.
This is not easy though.
It isn't, but do you know what? I fancy him for this. He's just good at these kind of really tough single pots. When he's got to pull them out, he often does. Yeah, and there again. Great.
Yeah.
Oh, what a horrible flick.
Yeah, that's pretty unlucky.
Flick. That really is. And you can see the frustration on his face. Well, does that pass the yellow into the top? Even if it does, what's he got?
No, he's got to play the double, mate.
He's got to play the double, and then he's sending the cue ball around the world.
The in-off isn't on.
No.
The yellow's blocking the in-off. So
yeah, but there's a lot of traffic to get through.
There is.
And you need to get... Well, it really depends on whether that... Can we see if that red passes the yellow up the rail? It's going to be a lot easier if it does.
It does just,
yeah. So this is...
But I don't like the value in that shot.
No, I don't mean now. What I mean is after he plays the double, he only needs to finish at the bottom of the table. Otherwise, he's got to go all around the world and get to the top of the table, and there's so much traffic.
Yeah, and the black maybe blocking the back double as well.
Yeah.
So this is a big shot. Oh, he's got it.
He has got it.
What's it? Oh my goodness!
How much bad luck do you want in a frame? That's insane.
The pool gods are not on his side at the moment.
If that yellow doesn't go there, then he can pop the red to top corner. He doesn't have to do anything with the cue ball because the black's just sat there. Wow.
Does this red go off the yellow?
Off the yellow. I reckon it does, you know.
This will be huge if he gets this.
Oh my goodness.
Well, he's had a stab, but they haven't gone too bad for Cousins.
This
will be all over.
Yeah. These are dollies. I mean, he's got the one on the side rail, but the one over the middle bag is perfect to knock it out.
Yeah.
And he may even elect to do that right now, which he is. I was just going to say, need to be careful there because those are the kind of shots. If you're ever going to get a pop out, those are the ones that pop out.
Yeah.
And you saw it tried to. It went into the pocket and showed its head. But yeah, these are at Tom's level. These are dollies. Should be at any level, to be fair. So Tom, with this clearance, is keeping it on serve, to use the tennis analogy, as we so often do.
And Tom's not won one of these events yet, has he?
No, not made a final.
He'll be very keen to open his account.
Has he made a semi, is the question. I think he may have made one semi. I can't remember, over the 10 events.
That shows you the quality.
Yeah.
And so I understand this event is not happening next year?
To my knowledge, no. I don't believe it is.
Be a big loss.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure something will rise from the flames.
But I understand Lee Kendall's now going to be on the World 8-Ball.
Yeah, he's
committee or something?
With he's the what do they call it? Marketing and I don't know. I saw his title the other day. He's something like the director of marketing and sponsorship or something along those lines. I don't know. So, but they've just announced a big coup, haven't they? They've got
TV.
Yeah, they've got the World Championships on Free Sports next year, which should be great. It'd be awesome to watch. So that's fantastic news for the world of pool, really. I mean, I know some people we have our detractors for world rules, but I'm not one of those. I think there's a place for all of the rule sets. I enjoy all of them for what they are. I have my preferences, but I think there's a place at the end of the day. If people don't want to watch it, then you just switch it off. I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, you get so many people nowadays who'd rather tell you, they'd rather give you the negatives. I was unlucky there for Phil.
Yeah.
He's getting a bit of bad fortune at the moment, just getting kicked in off there. But yeah, you get the people who, just take to social media just to tell you, how much that they're not going to watch it. Well, don't tell us you're not going to. It'd be like me going on social media and saying, I don't like EastEnders, I'm not going to watch it. I just don't watch it. It's like...
Interesting, he's opting for the yellow here. This is the key shot. If it goes in, he's going to go get him.
Yeah. I think it's definitely the right shot. I mean, yellow's a fairly much gimmies if he can make this one, and you expect cue ball in hand and a dead straight pot to bottom corner. This should be frame over. Shouldn't be missing these.
That's lovely.
Yeah, and punches it in with some venom. And as always, sadly, for the player who gets a bit unfortunate, I mean, Phil didn't, he didn't go in off the pack. He got kicked in from a couple of balls there, which is always unlucky because he does break so well, and so consistently, and you'll so rarely see him just go in off. I mean, it's just a rarity with him. Whereas some people, they're always flirting with the middle bags. Phil rarely just goes straight in off. He controls the break really well.
That was nice weight.
And as I was going to say, as always, or as so very often happens, you get punished with the frame, and that's what it's going to cost him here. What I loved about watching Tom play yesterday on the main arena, his cue ball was just stunning. I mean, just the little shots where you pot a ball, and for players of my standard, like kind of club players, that kind of control, that confidence, where you're going to cannon a ball full in the face and hold for perfect position, and often he was doing it yesterday, just cannoning the black out into a slightly better position where he didn't really need to, but it's just made life so much easier. And it's just being able to see it and then execute it to absolute perfection. And that's when like Tom's cruising, and he's really playing well today, and he's got the lead at 4-2.
Seventh frame, Tom Cousins to break, leading by 4 frames to 2. Time round.
So Tom breaks in frame number 7, and he's going to be playing reds.
Always missed one. That's a surprise.
I definitely didn't expect him to miss that one.
And Phil's not getting a good run at the moment. He's not got great options here.
He's open table.
Oh, it's open. Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
What a chance that was to go 5-2.
Really, I mean, those are massive moments as well at 5-2, and Phil's properly under it, and at 4-3, it's basically back on break.
Just a shout out to my dad, Grant Jameson, watching from the Three Horseshoes pub in Faversham in Kent. Thanks for tuning in.
Sunday lunch at the pub?
Yeah, sounds good. Although,
wonderful. Is there a better way to spend a Sunday afternoon? Bit of roast dinner, a couple beers, watch the football.
well, if my mate Jake can win the event, there won't be any roast dinners happening. It'll be a big party.
Yeah.
He's now leading Mark Boyle 4-3 from a 3-1 deficit. So Phil just comfortably taking care of these reds. So this match looks like it's going to go all the way as well at the moment. And I think with the balance of the luck, Phil will be quite happy to be 4-3 behind, considering.
I mean, Phil looks mortified by the fact he's come up short on that shot. You know, sort of slapped the table, but it's still a gimme, isn't it, for Phil?
For his level, it is. He's just got to be careful of the in-off.
Yeah, just played it at the right pace.
That's a good shot.
He does wear his heart on his sleeve. You can always tell whether Phil's happy with his shot or not by the look on his face.
Yeah.
Often, I mean, people talk about it like his kind of histrionics, and it makes him the player that he is. And really, I mean, it's obviously frustrating as an opponent to watch and think, oh, he's run out of position and he's in trouble here. When actually, he's still on the ball, but he's just a couple of inches from where he wanted to be, a couple of inches from perfect. So he shows his frustration, probably understandably so, but it's just a perfectionist. Yeah,
and it can be slightly off-putting to the opponent when they sat there thinking, oh yes, he's lost position here, and the world's about to end, and then they just get down and pot it.
Yeah.
There's a guy in Australia who's a great player called Ben Noonan, who you would have heard of.
Yes, yeah.
And Ben's a big candidate for that sort of action. You'll think he's not on the ball, but then he'll just swerve it and pot it like it's over the hole. Jack Whelan 8-3 up on Johan Assard.
Yeah, Gareth Hibbert was 5-2 up on Jimmy Croxton, and now he's 6-5 behind. So
yeah, Croxton's playing really well at the moment.
Yeah. That Ryan Clark against Scott Gillespie game, they're either involved in a very, very long frame, which would be unusual because they're both very attacking players.
Yeah.
Or their score's not being updated, but it's currently still showing at 3 apiece.
Yeah, interesting slow match.
Yeah.
Phil's just got a ball off the break there, and looks like yellows could be the balls. He's got the probably the option of both here, hasn't he?
Yeah. No surprise whatsoever that the match that's played the most frames, they've played 12 frames, is the one between Dylan Leary and Sean Chipperfield. Hardly a surprise. Chippy will be racing around the table and Dylan's no slouch. That's well controlled. He's a couple of inches further than he wanted to be. He'd have rather been just top side of this, because the cue ball is going to be going away from where he was, but it's still well controlled.
And that shows you the pace of the cloth as well. It's a very fine cloth.
Yeah.
And he was pretty much straight on that first yellow.
I think, does the cue ball go into the... No, he's looking at Stone. I wondered if he could just play it in and out of the gap between the two reds, but I think the natural angle probably takes him to the one nearest the pocket.
Yeah.
So he's looking at stunning on and off the rail.
Yeah. He's called his extension. I think he'll play this one.
He often calls his extension within the first couple of shots of a frame, and I have seen him get into a bit of a pickle before now. Again, as we say, just taking his medicine and leaving this long one.
I think he'll take the bottom yellow first here. Just he's got a natural angle to get closer to the left hand yellow, but he's got the options of either or.
Yeah. I think he's eyeing up the one down the rail, which surprises me. As you say, the other one to the right-hand side in the middle of the table looks like it's the better ball. It's the easier ball, and it gives him the option to get closer to this one.
That's a good shot. I didn't like his hampered cueing there.
Yeah. When you can pot like Phil, then I don't suppose it really matters which one you go for. And this really should be frame over now. He's left a lovely angle now, just to stun across for the one on closest to the right side rail.
Yeah, it's a bit. It just needs to be a bit tricky here. He doesn't want to kiss the red.
Yeah, it's one of those. It just needs a real soft touch. Just a lovely,
that's beautiful. Yeah,
just such a lovely touch. He's so good at those shots, which is why I was, for some people they'd make a bodge of that, but he plays those shots so lovely.
And Phil's won 2 of these events. Is that right?
Yeah, during the first series.
I think if he gets the third and wins this grand final, you'd have to say he's the best player in the world at the moment. Albeit there's a couple of people missing from the starting lineups, but.
And there we go. So that missed red in the last frame for for Tom to go 5 frames to 2 up.
Yep.
It's costing 2 frames.
That's right.
And now it's 4 apiece.
Level pegs, and Dylan Leary's just taken the 7-6 lead on Chippy. Adam Davis 5-4 up. Jack Whelan 8-4. McCartney Boyle level at 4 apiece. Croxton 6-5 up on Hibbett. Greg Batten 6-4 up on David McNamara. That frame seems to be taking a while.
I think my the little accumulator I put on is still live, so it's always hopeful.
I think mine is as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I've got Batten, Gillespie, McCarthy, and Chipperfield.
Yeah. The one let me down at the moment is the one that I had as a pretty much a banker, to be honest. I had Scott Gillespie is my banker in that one. He would have been my nap. The way he played yesterday, I just couldn't see him being beat. Well, he's 5-3 down at the moment. I mean, there's still a long way to go, but that's an important couple of frames that Ryan Clark's ahead, and he's having a fantastic weekend.
The bookmaker said I was the only person to win on an accumulator last night.
Yeah. He's had a good weekend for sure.
Yeah, he would have done pretty well.
He was looking happy yesterday, but he did go to the bookies. He did go to the casino last night, so anything's possible. Anything's possible.
I didn't know there was a casino here.
There's one in Stoke-on-Trent. It's about probably 10 minutes away, something like that.
I tell a lie. I did go there on the first night we arrived here.
Oh, there you go.
And I think I blew £500 in about half an hour.
Oh dear.
But I've made it back with some of the betting over on this tournament.
Yeah.
I also won 1,000 on the UK Championship snooker.
Nice.
With a 6-match accumulator.
Wow.
Of which I cashed out with one penultimate leg remaining.
Oh.
Which didn't get up, so I did the right thing to cash out on the grand.
Yeah, fantastic. So I want to just run you through the prize money for this event, as we're now very much at the business end. So the losers from losers qualification last night would have gone home with 400 in their pocket, and all of these players are guaranteed 550. The winners of these will go obviously into the quarterfinals, and they'll get 1,000 each. The semi-finalists win 2,000, the runner-up 3,000, and the winner will get a cheque for £7,000.
That's excellent. It's good that the prize money is pushed fairly further down the order as well.
I think it's great. I mean, we've got a field of 69 players, and 24 are getting paid.
Yeah.
You know, it makes it worthwhile for anyone to enter. Really, this needs to be good.
Oh, that's lovely.
Great shot. That really is. Such good cueing. I mean, I know it's only, you know, again, I always use the analogy. It's a black off the spot, but you know, these are pressure balls now. Even at 4 each, these are big frames. Because any mistake now, you know, it could see you a couple of frames behind.
Yeah, and he's a lovely bloke as well, Tom. I met him on I think it was a Wednesday or something.
Yeah.
And
in fact, both of these are.
Yeah, they're both great guys.
Yeah, they're both very amiable. I mean, Phil is just like, every time you see him, he's got a smile on his face and he puts his hand out for a shake and, you know, how are you? How's the family? You know, he's just such a personable guy. He really is.
Yeah.
You know, I can't say enough about him. Tom is probably, you know, Tom is one of the most understated people. He's quiet, he's languid, he's very introverted, he hates being in front of the cameras, he hates being in the limelight, but when you get him on a one-on-one, he's got a wicked sense of humour. He's really dry, very, very funny, got, you know, proper sarcastic sense of humour. Both really nice fellows, and that, you know, just both very respectful, and you can't say enough about them, really.
Adam Davis taking a 6-4 lead over Ronan McCarthy.
Looks like at the far end there, is that Greg Batten at the table, or is that McNamara?
McNamara.
Yeah, it's McNamara, isn't it? Greg's.
It looks like he's got only a few balls left.
Yeah, a lot slighter than that.
So, big break here from Phil. That's great.
Yeah, you know, it's that cue ball just
Look at
going across to that left-hand rail again and just hitting just below the bulk line.
Those yellows look delicious.
Yeah.
The reds are also awesome, but...
Yeah. A little bit of traffic there for yellows.
Yeah,
I actually think he might go reds here. I personally prefer if he can get past the red he's closest to get the one in the top left bag, or he may have an opener, the one to the right-hand side in bulk as well.
Yeah, the yellows connect a bit better to the black. That's the only reason I think he'll go yellows.
Yeah.
But both are
easily make
nice.
A case for either ball set, can't you?
I just like the pattern on the yellows.
Yeah.
In fact,
the only thing about the yellows is they're just a little bit on top of one another in the cluster.
Yeah.
You've got to take them absolutely in the right order, whereas with reds, I think there's just a little bit more leeway.
Yeah, and he's going to go...
So he's going to go yellows.
Yeah, another red, I think.
Is he, do you think?
Yeah, I think he's taking the red near the yellow. He's changing his mind now. He's already taken his extension.
Yeah, red.
Interesting starting shot. Looks good.
Yeah, I just think there's a little bit more leeway in terms of position on the two reds in the cluster, whereas the yellows you absolutely have to take in the right order, because the one closest to the black doesn't go to obviously bottom left, bottom right.
And he's this way he's looking to play the black into the left centre, and he'll use that bottom red as his last ball.
Yeah, and
land above it, and then just top spin through for the black off two rails.
That's the plan. And
he's a bit straight on this though.
Yeah, as I say, Phil, one of the best at executing the plan. Very, very rarely has to go to plan B. He often maps a table, and that's why he takes so long over that first shot. He looks at where the black is, and then he's working back from the black. He's looking at what ball he's going to use to get onto the black and how he's going to connect to that ball. So he maps it out in his head, as most players do. But Phil, just one of the best exponents at actually executing it. He's actually had to go to plan B here.
Yeah.
I don't think he was ever...
No.
looking at going this way. I think he was going to take the balls at the top first and then come back down and use these last, but this is equally as good.
Yeah, these are just a little bit more natural.
Yeah.
And he's going the path with least resistance.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that's fine. A thicker flick on the black could have been bad. Just push it behind the yellow, but
yeah, he's just got to cue this quite well.
Yep.
But he's one of the best players at these little dinky shots.
Yeah, just another one of those soft screw shots.
Lovely.
Just delightful.
So what's that? 5-all?
5 apiece, yeah. Still nothing between these two players. It's literally a case of who's going to blink first. 5 frames apiece, and we never expected it to be any different. So as we draw towards the business end of all of these matches, you can see the scores there. Jack Whelan is approaching the hill and approaching the finishing line against Johan Attard. Dylan Leary needs 3 more against Sean Chipperfield, but Sean will be battling on, and I can look through the window on table 5, the one just through the window, and it looks like they're removing the film off the table. That's Dylan Leary at the table.
Huge break.
Yeah, monster.
And look at those reds, oh my goodness.
I mean, you see this break time and time again. I've got what I think is a fairly decent break. You know, I transfer quite a lot of power through it, and I reckon I'll be lucky to get this kind of layout 1 in 10. You know, because I mean, you kind of look at this and it's just got break dish written all over it. Not just at this level, but pretty much any level. I mean, club players would look at this and think, "Oh, I fancy these."
Yeah.
Whether they actually get them or not, it's a different matter. But you look at this and you think, "Yeah, I definitely fancy these." And the break just comes out so well. As I say, if you could bottle that and sell it, you'd make a lot of money.
Oh, you would. Yeah.
These are a dream. It's called his extension, just because he didn't want to be against the clock.
That's perfect.
Even that is just, it's such a simple shot, but it's so well controlled at the same time. Cueing down across the rail, digging into the ball. You take all these things for granted, don't you? But when you actually try to execute them, you know, somebody else, a lesser player, maybe just finishes 2 inches higher, and then it just makes the next shot a little more awkward, and the next shot a little more awkward. And that's often when we miss, because we run out of position by 2 inches.
Yeah.
And then the next one, you're 4 inches out. And then the next one, do you know what I mean? You never kind of recover, and then eventually you miss the ball, and you think, how did I miss that clearance?
Well, he's inch perfect on that one again. So, should be elementary, just needs to take a little bit of care here.
Yeah. His aiming point's going to be the black.
Yeah, just don't go on the black.
Jeepers, his heart would have been in his mouth there.
Yeah, that was...
He's fine, but his heart would have been in his mouth just for a split second. You could see him pause for a moment. Goodness me.
Touch short there, but should be fine.
Yeah, and I think that was just from the previous shot. He was just being uber careful there. fantastic. Retakes the lead. This is a break dish fest.
It's
one after another. And that frame took, what, a minute? 2 minutes? Well, a minute and a half. And the first 40 seconds of that was him mapping it out. It's just noting the comments in the chat box and people saying about a rule set where you can play a deliberate foul, which is a very odd comment because there's no such rule in this rule set. There's no deliberate foul. It's a loss of turn shot. It's you know, the problem is that the thing about this rule set that has happened from day one is that people draw comparisons to other rule sets. They say, well, it's like this in Black Ball, it's like this in World Rules. If you'd never watched pool before and you saw this as a standalone rule set and you didn't draw those comparisons, it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
There is no deliberate foul. It's a loss of turn shot, and the reason for the loss of turn shot is to discourage people from covering pockets.
Yep.
It's absolutely anti what you think it is. It's not. How many fudge frames do you see in this rule set? It's about attacking pool, and it's about a simple rule set. And I've said it before. If some, I'll say it again. If somebody sits and watches snooker for half an hour, you will have an elementary grasp of the rules. Oh yeah, you pot a red and you pot a colour, and that's worth so many points, and that's worth so many points, and you could understand it. If you sat somebody in front of, no, I'm not a detractor of world rules, I love them, but if you sat someone in front of world rules for 3 hours, they couldn't tell you what the hell was going on.
No.
And similarly, in some aspects of black ball rules, this is a rule set where, as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the easiest to grasp. You can literally sit with somebody for half an hour and they explain the rules to you and you'll understand them, especially if you come from a pool background. So it's to encourage, I guess it depends what you want for the game. If everyone talks about, we want mainstream for the game, we want the game to build and to go on, my personal opinion is this is the rule set to take it there, because this is a rule set that not just you can transfer to TV, to mainstream, it's already been done.
Yeah.
Because it's the closest rule set to the most played rules in the world. Chinese pool, American APA, mini clip pool on your telephone, they're all the same rule set as these. So it's the most widely used set of rules. Now, people are going to have their own opinions about what they like and what they dislike, and that's absolutely fine. As I said earlier, there's a place for all of the rules. If that's what you enjoy playing, or that's what you enjoy watching, then that's for you. But for me, this rule set is, whether it's the best rule set or not, it's the most transferable, and it's the easiest to understand. And it's, for the layman, it's the easiest to watch.
Yeah, and it suits the stronger players as well. The black ball rules and the world rules do, to an extent, protect the lesser player, because you've got the 2 visits or the free shot. And thanks, Josh Boyle from Melbourne, with a comment on the stream. Josh, one of the good player from Melbourne. Oh, lovely shot from Cousins. I think it's Cousins at the table.
Yeah, it is, Tom.
And Phil Harrison, very unlucky to put the white end off the break there, Nick.
Yeah.
And, oh my goodness.
Wow.
Thomas played an awful shot there. Or he's got a kick or something.
Yeah.
That was a big surprise.
He's going to have to play it.
What a turning point if he doesn't get this.
Yeah. You've got to fancy him for it. No.
No. That's awful.
Wow. Goodness me, that is a massive turning point.
So even the best can miss.
Jeepers. Posty Boy asking if we posted the break video this morning. Apologies, there was we had a bit of a delay this morning for a couple of different reasons, so we didn't get a chance to. But for a fact, we're going to have breaks between the games today when we're waiting for other games to finish. So we will definitely post it for you. If you don't know what we're talking about, we did a masterclass with Chris Melling on the break.
Yep.
During the last event, and we promised to post it during the grand final, and we definitely will.
I'd very much like to watch that. My break did not work at all this week.
Yeah.
This has turned into a very big frame.
Huge. And yeah, what a mistake from Tom. I mean, 7-5 at this point, and I think if you were the bookie, you're pricing Tom probably like 1-4, 1-3, 1-4. I'm not saying that Phil can't make a comeback, but just that the way they've been playing with the break dish, then it's going to be hard to wrestle that frame back. But now at 6 apiece, there's nothing between them. Nothing between them.
This is the shot.
Oh, he gets this and gets on the next ball. Yeah.
Lovely.
Never in doubt from Phil. Again, probably from Phil's perspective, he would have been looking to get dead straight on this yellow, so he could just play a stop shot and play the yellow into centre. So probably a shake of the head that he's 1.5 inches out of position. But it's he's still perfect.
He might even choose to take the bottom red yellow here.
Could do. Yeah, absolutely could.
I think he'd probably just top this through and play the yellow in the same pocket.
Yeah.
He's playing backspin.
He is. Maybe you can just screw past it. Oh, okay, just nudge into it and leave it for the middle.
That just makes life simple, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's going the wrong way with this first yellow, but and you don't want to pump this yellow too hard because the pockets don't take him at pace.
Yeah, I think he can back himself with his cue. Just drop this in and leave the longer yellow with his cue action. He only needs to screw the cue ball back 2 feet and just play to get a little bit closer to it. Now he's left an angle. I guess he can run around the angles. I mean, for my preference, I quite like playing the screws, so I think I'd have left it straight and just screwed around.
That's pretty much perfect.
Yeah. Absolutely plumb.
So you'd have to say on balance, Cousins really should be maybe 8-4 up.
Yeah. Definitely had the chances to go 8-4.
So Phil probably
Phil will be
a bit of a slight favourite from here.
Yeah. 2 games there at 8 apiece now. Croxton Hibbett and Dylan Leary against Chipperfield. Scott Gillespie pulled one back, and talking about pulling one back, Greg Batten was 6-3 up, and now that's 6 apiece.
Yeah, Dave McNamara's definitely played well this week.
He's having a
Took
great
out Liam Dunster last night, 11-10.
Yeah.
Or sorry, 8-7.
In fact, the 2 players in that game have both beaten Liam Dunster this weekend. Greg Batten beat him 11-4, And David McNamara beat him 8-7 last night. It was the last game on in the arena. And Liam had a chance in the last frame. I didn't see it, but I saw him at the table. So I'm not sure what happened there, whether he missed the ball or what happened.
I think he missed a ball in the decider, I heard. Because I spoke to David McNamara this morning, and he said he was fortunate that Liam missed one in the decider, which he doesn't usually.
Well, no, he's normally clinical. I've seen so many deciders go his way, and he just wasn't playing at 100% this weekend. I mean, I watched a fair bit of him against Greg Batten, and I think he'd snookered himself in open play at least 3-4 frames. It just wasn't there for him, and you just can't do that. Looking at the top of the screen there, Greg Batten is at the table, sharing at 6 apiece, so looks like he's going to go 7-6. You can see Ronan McCarthy down on table number 3. That is one of the stream tables. Nobody on table number 4. Oh, Jack Whelan has already won his game. So that the action is actually finished on that table. And Jack Whelan's beaten Johan Attard 11 frames to 6.
Oh, another massive break from Cousins.
Got a little bit tied up with the yellow just at the bottom. He's definitely going to go yellows here.
Yeah.
But it's just a case of what he does with that one awkward ball.
Yeah, this is that. He'll take his extension here, I'm guessing.
Yeah. He's got the ball to the right-hand side, which he could use to attack it, but the problem is you got the 3 reds kind of guarding it, so you have to find the gap between the reds to find the right angle. So it's not going to be a gimme. It looks as if
that's the line he's looking at there. That's what he wants.
Yeah. So if he can find that line, he can just come off the bottom cushion and then just clip the red out of the way and leave the yellow in. And the thing is, he's going to want to attack that now, isn't he?
And the reason he wants this yellow instead of the top right one is so that he can still have a cover shot if the extraction doesn't work out.
Yeah. Has he found it?
I think he's just on it.
Maybe
you might need to play it with a touch of right hand side.
Yeah. Do you know, if he's not quite there, I'm not even sure he'll risk it, because he's got the ball. He's got the ball to the right to get better on it if he needs to.
Yeah,
let's be on it.
He really wants that as the cover shot, though.
Yeah.
That's good, and he's been pretty unlucky, I think.
Really has.
Can he get through?
Unlucky, but at the same... No, I don't think he can get through, but...
It's a mini swerve, isn't it?
Unlucky, but at the same time...
Actually, he's on it.
He is, yeah.
Just.
I don't know if he was actually targeting the yellow there. I think if he'd have targeted the red above the yellow, what he needed to do was move that out of the way, and he's been fortunate to find the gap there.
Yeah.
So the black now becomes the obvious issue. And he's already had a bit of trouble with the black in the last.
He'll be going into it here.
Phil's shaking his head in the background there. Maybe just thinking to himself, Tom, just ruining the fact that Tom was a bit fortunate there. He really was to find that gap.
I think it would have been very unlucky not to be on anything.
Yeah, definitely. But
let's see what he's doing here. He's going to try and play the black, I think, into the bottom left corner, and he's going to pot this and come up off 2 cushions, but the angle looks too sharp for that. Do you think he can get up behind the black here with topspin?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
That's beautiful if it reaches.
Just enough.
Yeah, I think he's got enough to get this.
It's skinny. But...
And the white's kind of going into that red. It could go anywhere.
I guess it was one of those... probably less was better than more. You know, I mean, he could have definitely done with another sort of 4 inches of pace there, but he was better being slightly under than he was slightly over, because if he's slightly over, he's snookered.
Yeah.
Skinny cut.
He's played it really well.
Great shot. Where's the cue ball?
He's all right.
He's fine. So there we go. Another break and dish. And noticeably, at the moment, there's just no mistakes on Tom's break. He's breaking and dishing every one. The mistakes are coming on Phil's break.
Yeah.
Now Tom's let him off those couple of mistakes so far, but Phil needs to reset.
If he keeps breaking like that, he's going to be unstoppable.
Yeah. So Greg Batten now 7-6 up, but you can see David McNamara is at the table. Up on table number 3, that's Adam Davis at the table. There's 6 apiece for Ronan McCarthy. That's going to be a game of attrition to...
Greg Batten taking the lead on David McNamara.
Yeah, and
David's at the table now.
Scott Gillespie, as you can see, Goobs, you've written on his back just to the top left of your screen. He's currently 5 each, but he's sat waiting patiently. Obviously, Ryan's at the table. In the 5 distance at the top of the table, that's going to be, I think that's Jimmy Croxton at the table. That's table 15.
Hibbett 9-8 up.
Yep. So Jimmy's at the table, so...
And Jake McCartney is 7-5 down to Mark Boyle. I've had a couple of messages coming through on the YouTube stream saying that Mark's playing quite slowly. Is there a timer on those outside matches as well?
No.
So yeah,
if it does become onerous, then the player can call a clock on your opponent, and a referee will go over and they will put a clock on it. Also, the organisers have the right to pull the clock out if it does get too slow.
Yeah.
But Mark, not normally noticeably a slow player. Maybe he's just...
yeah, I've had a few messages, so he must be taking his time today.
Yeah, yep.
So Dylan Leary here with good opportunity. And I think those guys are locked at 9-all or something, aren't they? So, interesting to see if Dylan gets to the hill.
Yeah, Dylan's 1 behind. He needs that one to get to 9-all.
Ah.
Look at that cue ball again, as I mentioned earlier.
But no ball this time.
Bends across. And hits just above that left-hand cushion. But as you say, he's not made a ball. And, Tom would love to be able to get through to a red here, but he clearly can't.
Yeah, it's actually...
yellows are much more tricky.
They are. I think the first yellow is potentially his hardest one.
Yeah.
I think those 2 yellows plant into the right corner.
Yeah, you could be right. You could be right. He's got the one along the top rail first, but he's going to have to pump it because he needs to get below the bulk line.
He's even considering probably the safety here. Just knock the yellow up and leave the white on the yellow.
I can't see it. I just can't see it.
Nah.
If he's got an attacking option, he's going to go for it. You just have to take every opportunity, don't you?
It's a good hit.
It is.
And he'll play this yellow on the left with lots of left-hand side on the white ball.
Trusting to luck a little because he's going to contact the other yellow. He needs to play it, as you say, with left. The cue ball's going to come down that left side of the table, but just trusting to luck a fraction.
Yeah, how's he looking? Oh, that's worked out absolutely perfectly.
Goodness me. How's it worked out? Well, how's your luck there, Tom?
Phil will be have a wry smile on his face for sure. Phil not particularly impressed with that one.
Phil looking stoic. Yeah, he doesn't look happy.
These little rubs and stuff here and there at this level makes all the difference.
I mean, we all need a bit of luck, so he's. I didn't expect Tom to play it that way, I must admit. I thought he'd try and play a more controlled shot, but fair play.
The yellows must not have been a plant, otherwise he would have just stayed on the plant, I think.
Yeah.
I think someone said Phil's beaten Tom Cousins a couple of times in this series so far. So Tom will be looking for a bit of revenge here.
Actually, you were right. That was 9 each. My scores hadn't updated.
Oh.
It was 9 apiece between those, and Dylan did win that frame, so he's actually on the hill now against Sean Chipperfield.
And you've got Dylan in your accumulator, haven't you?
No, I didn't put him in. I don't think.
I
think it was one of those. I was going to put him in, and then
I've got Chipperfield, so I'm hoping he can.
Yeah, I think he's at the table. I've got Greg Batten, who's currently 7 each. I've got Gillespie, who's 6-5 down. I've got Croxton, who's 10-9 down. I've got Boyle, who's 7-5 up, and Cousins, who's 7-6 up. So.
Oh, that's spot on. Look at that. Every little roll is going his way at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. And here he can just stun across the face of the red. Leave himself on this black. And finally he does take full advantage of a try break from Phil. He hasn't done thus far. And now, at a very important stage in the match, he draws 2 frames clear.
That's a big out from the position he was left.
Yeah. It's 8 frames to 6.
Frame, Tom Cousins to break, leading by 8 frames to 6. Time running.
So the next break comes out, and again, what a layout. Has he, am I right in thinking, because I've not kept the note on it, has Tom dished every frame that he's played? Maybe someone in the chat can help me with that, because obviously it's hard to monitor all these things when you've got a lot of other things going on, but I've got a feeling that he's dished every frame that he's broke, hasn't he? What a standard. Greg Batten's inched ahead, he's 8-7 up. Tech Line asking how old is Dylan Leary? I think he's 51. Pretty sure he's 51. could play either ball here. I think he's going to play the one. He's going to play the one to middle and screw back. He could play the one to bottom corner. Just a question of personal taste, personal choice. And you could put the black into one of about 4 pockets. And nudges it across. And a simple black to take a 9 frames to 6 lead. And Tom Cousins just playing out of his skin. Okay, getting a few rules, getting a few little touches as well. He's definitely getting the roll going his way, but you know, as they say, you make your own luck, and no one's corrected me yet about the break dish. I can't remember him. He's definitely not gone dry, and I can't remember him missing a ball. I think well, on his own break, he missed a ball off of one of Phil's. Dylan Leary against Sean Chipperfield, 10 frames apiece. Could we have a look at the arena to see who's at the table? Because I'm very interested to see whether it's Dylan or Sean. There we can see who is it, right in the foreground. I'd say, yeah, I was about to say, I reckon it's Dylan, because if it was Sean, he would have been down on the shot. In fact, he would have played 3 shots by now. So Dylan's at the table in the decider, and it looks like he's just broken off. And the yellows didn't look too bad. So Dylan Leary, a favourite for that one. Okay, so just for the next... we won't do it quite yet. We'll just stick with this one. Okay, sorry. We'll just stick with this one just for a moment. And as that frame goes on, we'll keep an eye on it. And because at the moment they're talking about moving the rack and so on and so forth. But what we'll do in just a moment is we will put this game picture in picture and have that one as the main game. But we're keeping a close eye on it. Wow, I can tell you that Dylan has just played a shot. Maybe we should go across to that one because there's some drama unfolding in that. Dylan's just played a shot, and he was hampered queuing, and he had to slam the ball in, and in doing so, he's fouled. He's caught the ball that he was queuing over, and he's fouled, and you can see that Sean Chipperfield's got ball in hand. And I fear that that's going to be curtains. I know that when Dylan did it, he was absolutely mortified, had his head in his hands. So we'll go picture in picture on the Phil Harrison game just for the conclusion of this one. There you go. You can see Phil up in the top corner, and Phil's broken off and is at the table. He's just plotting his route at the moment. And we'll bring you the conclusion of this one, but you've got to say, wow, Chippy's tied a ball up now on that left-hand side. And this is awkward. I can only think that it couldn't have been open table, because if it was open table, why wouldn't you have gone yellows there?
Yeah.
So, as I say, I don't know exactly... Oh,
he's on
tied again. He's going to have another chance to get it out, though.
Yeah, this is the match shot.
So I was just watching across on the other screen, and I could see the players talking and pointing out. I thought
they were trying.
Yeah, it's a great shot. They were trying to. They were talking and pointing, so I wasn't exactly sure what happened. Then Dylan was sat on the table reaching over a ball, and he had to pump it, and he slammed it in, and as I say, caught the ball with his cue, and he looked absolutely mortified. So. Chippy will have these gone within about 20 seconds.
Well, he's not happy with that shot.
No, he's definitely not happy. Didn't want to be on the rail there. I mean, it's gone from 100% gimme to now there's sort of a 10% doubt, because I think he's on both the reds, but
he's got to go the middle and cannon the black.
Exactly. It's just a little bit more awkward than it absolutely needed to be.
Yeah.
But it, it's
just
one
needs
of them.
to pot this with a bit of check side.
Yeah. Target.
It's not a gimme though.
No. I think he can target the yellow. Oh, he's come just below the yellow.
He's overhit it.
Oh my gosh.
Is he on it?
I think he's going to put his hand up and apologise there.
Is he on it?
He is on it, yeah, for sure. You can see from the smile on his face.
I think it's a wry smile. I don't think he's on it.
Surely he's on that ball.
You might have to. Oh, he's looking at the rail. Is he?
No, he's on it. He's got to turn it over, and he's slightly. Oh no, he's
got
doubled
a
it.
double. He's missed.
Oh my goodness me! What?
Oh no! I've never seen anyone chew their cue in disgust before.
But it's huge, isn't it? This is to get in the quarterfinals of the grand final. I mean, it's massive, absolutely massive. How on earth do you snooker yourself on the last ball? That's just.
Is he going to snooker? He's going to snooker. He's going to drop in a snooker.
No, he's going to go for it. Surely to goodness, he has to go for this clearance.
Oh my god! Look at this.
Look, we're kind of ignoring Phil's clearance in the top corner, but in fact, it's still Phil at the table.
Look, he could have dropped the snooker in there, and
it's not Phil at the table. Sorry, it's Tom. I apologise. It's a little picture for us.
Tom's perfect there on the second last red,
and it looks like he's going to go on the hill.
Yeah, 10-6 up.
So sorry, the drama unfolding on both, but we just want to stick with this one for just a moment.
But I have to say, I think the snooker was the shot there. I know that the black would have been pollable.
Yeah.
But off the rail,
he's still got the option of the snooker now, but he's not.
He's taken.
He has taken it. Yeah.
Are we okay? Has he left this black?
High drama.
I reckon it's on. But the in-off in the middle pocket, Nick.
So Tom.
Watch the in-off. Oh, he's got it.
Has he made it?
He's done it.
He has done it.
Well done, Sean Chipperfield.
Oh my God, how relieved does Sean Chipperfield look?
He must have known I had him in the accumulator.
Oh,
didn't want to let me down.
Goodness, that's incredible. Fantastic. Anyway, let's get back across with the other game. We apologise if you were intently watching the Tom game, but hopefully we brought you both. Oh, dear me.
Unbelievable tension there.
It's wonderful to watch the conclusion of one game, and then we're just about to watch the conclusion of another. It's just
fantastic. Davis and McCarthy are 7-all.
Frame, Tom Cousins to break, leading by 10 frames to 6. Time running.
So Tom breaks in the last, and
another huge break there.
Little more awkward than the others. The yellows, they've got the ball tied up just below the bottom left, which makes me think that he's going to go reds here.
Yeah, I think reds might be the choice.
The thing is, all of the reds have a pocket, don't they?
Yep.
Even the one that's on the top left rail by the bulk line, it passes into top left. So, I think they're the ball.
Yeah. And I think he can move some stuff on the left-hand side with his second shot of this. Oh no, he's going down here. Going to get rid of his rail ball early.
Simon Rudge asking if it's winner takes all or whether people get paid. Actually, it's 24 people get paid. The prize money increases through. The winner gets £7,000.
Got another message coming through asking for a shot clock on the Jake McCartney and Mark Boyle table.
Yeah,
I wish we could make that decision, but I think it's with the players to decide.
It's absolutely with it's with the organisers, all the players. I mean, Jake could definitely ask one of the referees to bring a clock in. Maybe he's too polite to do so. He doesn't want to, but it's down to him ultimately. He's got, he can't come away from the game saying Mark was playing way too slow, because it's down to him to deal with that.
That's an excellent shot.
Yeah,
could be a match winner.
Yeah,
he's opened them up. They all go. The only problem ball-ish could be the black.
Yeah.
I think he's got enough room on the bottom right here.
Where it is should be an easy double.
Yeah.
If he doesn't want to move it, then if you land right on that, that's pretty much a gimme double.
Yeah, it depends. He's got an angle here if he wants to try and move it, but maybe that would be too risky. Got some comments coming in from Rob Bowen in Melbourne.
Yeah, you've got some fans tuning in, Steve.
Yeah. Rob Bowen, another Australian expat from England. So Cousins is going to try and drop this black in the middle.
Yeah, it's got the angle to land behind it.
It looks a bit dodgy though.
It does. It definitely looks tight. It's one of those, if you land right behind it, you should be making it every time. But he needs to land on it pretty much where he is now, or just a little. See,
he's bridging over the yellow as well.
For me, it's awkward from here. If he'd have screwed back another 3 or 4 inches, I think this is unmissable. But hampered queuing and a tough little shot. No, you see,
it was missable.
Yeah, but that was.
I think your call on the double was the call.
I think it should have been a double, and I don't think that double was missable for Tom. But I think that he just took that a little bit too much for granted. If he screws back another 3 inches, he's not hampered, and he's dead straight on it. And I don't think Tom Cousins misses that as a dead straight ball when he's not hampered. So he's only really got himself to blame there.
Yeah.
Now, from Phil's perspective, he's got this ball just below the left centre, which he's going to have to move. This is one of those where, I'm always an advocate for landing on balls and playing them, but this is one of the hardest ones when they're just below the middle bag. Really, really tough shot. So I think he's definitely going to have to move this one, but it only needs a little flick on it. So, Ryan Clark 7-5 up against Scott Gillespie. Greg Batten's 9-8 down to David McNamara.
Oh.
Gareth Hibbert's through against Jimmy Croxton, 11 frames to 9. Jack Whelan, we already know, is through. Sean Chipperfield, we know, is through. Mark Boyles 9-5 up against Jake McCartney. Adam Davis, Ronan McCarthy locked up at 10 each. And then this is the only other game. See, now, I think Phil knows that he's left it too late to try and move it, and he's looking at playing it up the rail. I mean, how difficult is that shot? I think he knows that he has to try and find an angle to try to move it.
Yeah.
That's such a hard pot. Even if you land above it or below it, that's one of the hardest you will get.
Yeah, he's going to put some right side on this and just leave himself an angle. Oh, he's overhit it.
Oh my goodness me.
He has car parked that one.
Oh, dear me. I mean, to be fair, it absolutely flew off the cushion, but I think he put too much side on it.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he showed you where he wanted to be. He wanted to leave an angle just to come over and clip that yellow out.
He's coming off the black on this yellow in the middle, Nick.
He is, but what does he do with the last one?
I reckon he's going to chuck a snooker in. Let's see what he does.
Could be right. It feels... Excuse me.
I don't think he's going to... It's going to struggle to get the white near enough to the yellow to put the snooker in. He's probably going to have to take it up the rail. Does it face cut double?
So, playing it off the black.
What a shot.
What a great shot. He's left nothing. He's left...
Except the snooker.
Absolutely nothing, yeah, apart from the snooker.
And that's not actually easy from there, is it?
No, it really isn't. Because the cue ball goes to the rail and bounces out, then you need to judge the pace perfectly.
Oh, he literally has to just tickle this. I don't think he's going to play it. He's playing the double. Here we go. This is huge.
Oh, what a shot.
He has got it. What a shot. And that white wants to bounce.
Willing the cue ball to
it's gone
go
high
down
enough.
The table.
It's gone high enough.
Yeah.
But the white is going anywhere here.
Yeah. He can definitely cut this in. But the white ball's going to be flying. Wow. What a huge clearance this is. Got it.
That's filthy.
That is... that's a fantastic clearance. I mean, that really is. Having run out of position. Oh, gee. Out of breath after that one. Didn't even think he had enough room to make that double, but somehow digs it out. What a fantastic clearance. Phil Harrison showing his class. I mean, Tom Cousins will have more chances, but goodness me, he had to put that one to bed. He's let Phil in before, and you just can't give Phil a sniff, because if he smells blood, he will be on you. He's like a hound.
Frame, Phil Harrison to break, trailing by 10 frames to 7. Time running.
And I can tell you that...
That's a great break.
In that Greg Batten against David McNamara game, David is 9-8 up. He was just on a clearance and he's missed the black to go on the hill at 10 frames to 8. So Greg's got a chance to draw things level at 9 each. Wow. Drama. Drama in all of these games. It always is when we get to this stage of the competition.
Greg Batten, the West Country weapon.
Indeed. Definitely a weapon. We're big fans of Greg. He's our horse in the event, so we're silently cheering him on.
What's the furthest he's got in the 10?
Has he made a quarter last year, Paul? Greg? I think he may have made 1 quarter last year. He's had some tough games. I mean, he's played Cousins, he's played Dunster, he's played Harrison. I mean, he really has had some tough runs. But you're always going to expect to. There's no hiding places in these events.
No.
You know,
So a brilliant break there from Phil, and the Reds look pretty good.
What's the old saying? To be the best, you've got to beat the best.
That's it. This is a big shot here because he'll be developing. There's only dead balls and landing on that awkward one under the black.
So from 10-6, you expect him to go 10-8 here, and that's a lot of pressure back on Tom's break in the next. At 10-8, if he makes a mistake on that break, then the next time he comes to the table, it could be 10-10.
Yeah.
You know, the ways that these are playing, and you know, just that one miss black to seal the match. And suddenly, it's going to be playing on his mind, and the pressure. You know, that's how you really start feeling it. Oh my gosh!
Oh.
Do you know, I was almost taking this clearance for granted because the way Phil's been playing, he hasn't really looked like missing those kind of clearance, especially after the clearance he's just made in the last, and that was a really makeable plant.
Yeah. So I think if Tom can pot that highest yellow in bulk into the left corner and then take his yellow down the rail. Actually, there's a few ways he might take these. That ball on the left hand side into his favourite pocket is the awkward one. He's going to get on it now. That's a really good positional shot there. Absolutely perfect. But this is the pocket that haunts him, Nick. He's got the same shot he had on the black.
Yeah. Yep.
And he's getting into this as well. You don't really want to put much pace on this shot.
Oh, he's done it again.
Missed it again. The pocket's haunting him.
He will not be able to believe that.
And these Reds are
I've never seen Phil move so fast. He was like a leopard.
Yeah, I genuinely think he played a shot he probably didn't feel he could get. He knew he was going to miss it. Because he had to just give it a little bit more than he had to give the black.
Yeah.
So all these matches reaching a conclusion now. Exciting times.
Yeah, Greg Batten missed that clearance, and it's David McNamara who's 10 frames to 8 up.
And at the table as well.
He's at the table in the middle of a clearance to win and to beat Greg Batten.
Crikey, Phil nearly missed that one.
Yeah. Ryan Clark is now 8-6 up against Scott Gillespie.
Well, that's a good going from him.
Ronan McCarthy and Adam Davis still locked together at 7s.
Look, this is interesting here, Nick. He's got to get on the black in a different pocket. So needs to judge this well, but I think he should be fine. But with these pockets, you can't hit them too hard, can you?
Nope. Screw across the face of the yellows.
That's well done.
Judged it perfectly. But I mean, Tom is going to be mortified. He's going to have 2 more breaks, and the way he's been break dishing, you expect it. But the pressure is firmly on this next break.
Yeah. Let's see if he can break just as well as usual with that additional tension.
That's unbelievable.
So well done to Dave McNamara, who's just beaten Greg Batten and will take his place in the quarterfinals. So here it is, on the hill. And how's the break? He's not got a ball for the first time in the match.
Those pool gods.
Unbelievable.
They come back to haunt you, don't they?
The balls do not forgive you when you miss.
He's missed 2 balls.
And look at the split. The balls have split
yeah.
beautifully for Harrison.
He's missed 2 balls into that centre pocket, and the pool gods have gone, do you know what? Have some of this.
And the Reds look pretty good.
Ronan McCarthy was talking about the pool gods there. Do you know what? Phil just had his heart in his mouth for a second, because if that red had dropped, then he was pretty much in no man's land with a really skinny cut to the right centre.
It would be useful for Phil if the red passes into the middle pocket on the left. If it does, then you can't miss these, and it must go.
Yeah.
Just what you needed with a 10-8 scoreline.
Well, did anyone expect anything different? I mean, it was never going to be plain sailing between these two, was it?
No, and in some ways you could say they're the top 2 pairing remaining in the comp.
Yeah.
And they must have thought to themselves, if we get through this match, we're a really good chance to win the event.
Yeah.
No disrespect to the field, but these 2 are the most accomplished that remain.
Yeah. I mean, you still make Tom the favourite at the moment. He's still going to have another break, but...
That's right.
You know, this has gone from Tom Cousins on a clearance and a 1 to 100 favourite to win 10-6 to suddenly you wouldn't make him much more than 1 to 3 at the moment.
There's a smidgen of work still to be done here. He's got to get up for that. Do you think he'll leave that red above the black till last?
Yeah. 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 I mean, clearly he needs to get top side of it, but I think he's got a big margin of error up there.
Yeah. And he's going to leave a perfect angle. He'll leave the natural angle, so he just has to drop it in to be on the last red.
Yeah.
Okay, he's left it. He's just going to aim for the middle of that left-hand rail with a touch of right-hand side.
Yep.
Let the cue ball do the work.
He overhit one of these.
He did
already in the last frame, in the frame before last. So
yeah, so he'll be mindful of that. So, but I think he should be fine.
I like coming into the gap closer to The red, yeah, like that. A minute ago, he was kind of like looking at cueing, getting the cue ball between those yellows, and he's just, there's danger in that.
That's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, there was never a danger in playing it the way he did. Wow. It's 10 frames to 9.
With Harrison to break, is it?
Yep, Phil Harrison is going to have the break in the next frame, and he'll be looking to make a ball off of it. There's some drama. Well, we're seeing it all here. So, 10-9, all to play for. Phil Harrison breaking in the 20th frame.
Phil Harrison to break, trailing by 10 frames to 9. Time running.
Huge break coming up. In the context of the game, massive, needs to make a ball, needs to keep the cue ball on the table. Oh, he's definitely kept the cue ball on the table, and he's made a ball, and they've come out.
Pretty good, I think.
I think they're okay, you know. I think that yellow, the one just below the black, passes, well, does it? It goes to middle, goes to right middle.
Does it? I'm not sure it does.
I think it passes to right middle.
I think it's touching the yellow. I think. I had to laugh. I just took a comfort break in the toilet, and Tom and Phil were in there at the same time, and the boys, obviously a lot of strong friendship there, because Tom was jokingly bumping into Phil while he was trying to use. Well, they were both trying to use the hand dryer at the same time, and so Tom gave him a bit of an elbow out of the way, and they were having a good laugh between the two of them just in the break there.
Yeah, they are. They're good friends. Good camaraderie between the two. A fierce rivalry on the table. Neither player's going to give an inch.
That's a beautiful shot.
That really is.
That's a match winner.
Yeah.
Could not have landed better.
This is going to be 10 each. We're going to the hill.
Oh, I said match winner. I was thinking it was Hill, but it's actually still 10-9 to Cousins, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the neutral would love to see a deciding frame. But he's still got to get these.
He was just looking for. He looks mortified again. I think he's just finished straight. Yeah. Looks off in the distance as he does. Looks annoyed with himself because he just wanted to finish an inch lower to make this elementary, but it's still fine. He can just screw back with a bit of. Well, he's gonna follow by the. Is he gonna follow or reverse? Yeah.
Oh,
Stun it.
That's a really good shot.
Stun it off the bottom rail.
Yeah, that was brilliant. One of the best manipulators of the small white, Phil Harrison.
Yeah.
You couldn't play that shot on a snooker table. That's perfect.
And suddenly, he just looks in absolute control. He's doing what he does best, moving that cue ball around the table, leaving himself in perfect shape from one ball to the next. Phil Harrison, ever present in this series, has been throughout all of the events. Very rarely not in the latter stages. Always a feature, always a danger. And he's proving a danger here for Tom Cousins. Tom is at the moment in danger of paying the ultimate penalty for missing 2 balls in the middle pocket. It's going to go 10 frames each. It's still in Tom's hands, still the favourite because he's still in control. He has the break in the last. But those pool gods have already played a part in this. Yeah, again, he doesn't look happy, but he's absolutely fine. He can just run this forward. He can run it through 4 or 5 inches, have a half ball black to corner. Okay, he's not absolutely perfect, but there's not a chance he's missing these. Not a chance.
But just a bit of unnecessary pressure on himself.
It is, but he handles it so well.
Yeah.
This black will find the middle of the bag.
Great shot. Hill.
I would have happily remortgaged the house on that one.
So here's some scores from around the tables. You've got Mark Boyle, 10-6 on Jake McCartney. Ryan Clark, 8-7 Scott Gillespie. Adam Davis, 9-7 on Roland McCarthy.
And of course, the game at the bottom has gone all the way. It's Hill, Phil Harrison versus Tom Cousins. Tom has the break in frame number 20. It's all about this break. His break has been massive throughout this match so far. He needs one more. He needs one more big one. He needs the ball, and he needs to control the cue ball. And he's found a ball. One of the last balls moving on the table. He's found a ball, and Phil tosses his head back, resigned. He already knows that This could be curtains. He's shaking his head in the corner. He's looking for any glimmer of hope around the table. But do you know what? There's no glimmer of hope for me. The yellows, I mean, they all have a pocket. You could equally make a case for reds, but you've got the red that's behind the yellow over the bottom left-hand pocket, which would make me think that he's going to go for yellows here. As I say, they all have a pocket. It's just about controlling the cue ball. He's going to play this one at top right, top left, and then start going about his work. So here we have it. That yellow that's just slightly hampered below the red, he can play that as a plant to, I think it goes through to the bottom left pocket, so he can play it as a plant onto the one over the bottom left.
Yep.
Equally, it goes into the middle if he needs to, so all of these balls have a pocket. It's just about controlling the cue ball. Interesting
way he's gone about these.
Yeah, I think it's the right way, because the balls at this end of the table are really, these are the ones, once he moves it, they have all the traffic in the way.
Yeah.
So if he moves these out of the way now, then he's got free reign at the top of the table. As I say, that yellow will go to centre, so he'll just be playing this with off the cushion, just bounce the cue ball out, pass the red. He's just screwed it back.
So these look too easy, but under the circumstances,
they're never easy.
It's not going to be a foregone conclusion.
I think for me, it's all about this shot. If he makes great shape on the next ball, then it should be fairly elementary.
That's not great shape.
That's really not great shape at all. He's okay, actually. He's just the right angle, just the right side of that yellow, so he can run the cue ball off the side rail up in between these two yellows, and I think he'll be taking the one along the top cushion next.
That's lovely. Perfect.
Perfect. Beautiful shot.
That's a match winner.
Yeah, and he slammed that in, didn't he?
Yeah.
What confidence, just slammed it in and let the cue ball run up the table. Beautiful. Wow, under pressure, how does this guy perform? It's something else. You've got to feel for Phil Harrison, though, haven't you?
You have, yeah.
You've got to take your hat off to him for making such a game of this. This has been a real spectacle, and the winner is definitely the game of pool. But Tom Cousins takes the spoils. He goes through into the next round. What a fantastic game of pool. Hats off to both players. Little shake of the head there from Phil, but nothing to be ashamed of there. There's nothing more he could have done. He just needed a chance in that last frame, but Tom Cousins denies him it, and he wins that. We'll try and get, at least try and get Tom in for a chat. We may even try and get both players in just to hear their opinions from both if we can. Tom, always a shy one, never wants to come forward. Thanks for joining me on commentary, Steve. Really appreciate that.
Thank you, Nick. Enjoyed it. Cheers, mate.
Been good company. So we'll see you over in the interview room, and I can also tell you that Chris Melling masterclass on breaks, we're also going to show that. So after the interview, you'll be able to see the Chris Melling masterclass. So thanks to Steve again, and we'll see you over in the interview room in just a couple minutes. I don't know about you, Tom. I'm still out of breath after that game. I mean, that was... how do you even navigate your way through that? You were in total control.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't get on the black properly at 10-6. And then the black actually wasn't that easy because I was bridging. And then, obviously, he did a good clearance. Should have won the next frame. Missed again in the same pocket. And then I didn't have a shot till decider.
How do you feel when it comes to that decider? Because there's so much pressure on you now. After breaking dry in the one before...
Yeah, I hit it a little bit harder that time because I don't know if you noticed, but I was sort of not hitting it as hard as I'd break.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd give the last one a little bit more, and luckily, left myself dollies.
Do you feel the pressure there?
Oh yeah, especially Phil. I feel the pressure way more than anybody else.
Yeah.
Like if that was against anybody else, I wouldn't have. Well, I don't think I'd have be sweating and.
Is that just the old rivalry between the two of you?
It's because he's so good, and I really want to beat him.
Yeah.
I want to beat him more than anyone else.
Yeah.
And that's just.
And that's a measure of him, isn't it? And I know you're good mates as well, don't you?
Yeah. Well, we get on, and
yeah.
I've got nothing against him at all.
But it's just a fierce rivalry on the table.
Yeah, I want to beat him more than anyone else.
Yeah.
It's weird, and he just. I'm sticking and it's horrible. But that's just playing him. It's horrible.
But you handle it well. I mean, you've gone about that clearance really well. You say dollies, but you've still got to get them.
Yeah, I know. But that's I just try and get on with it. Don't think about it because that's when I'll start chucking one in or something like that. But
is that what you do? Just one ball at a time? Just playing the table?
Yeah, but just trying to get on with it as fast as I can. Like, if I see a finish, just go for it. Don't walk round the table or whatever. Just get down, pot it like I would in practice.
Yeah.
So
you're looking good this event. I mean, by your standards, over the 10 events so far, you probably admit that you've underachieved.
Done rubbish, yeah. I have, yeah. Yeah, I've got one semis and that's it, I think, isn't it?
What's clicking this weekend then?
I don't know, just a bit of practice, I suppose, because obviously I practiced for the Dunster King of the Hill game, and I practiced hard for that, to be honest, and that was only a couple of weeks ago, and I've still been playing. Me and Sean Story play a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
You know, sort of 70 or 80 frames, and that's just keep my eye on.
Yeah. After coming through that game, you've got to fancy it this weekend now, haven't you? Or is it just still one game at a time?
Well, it's one game at a time, but every time I come to a tournament, I think, I'll win this.
Yeah.
That's just where I am. So obviously, I think I will win it, but it doesn't.
You've got to have that confidence, haven't you?
It doesn't usually work out for me when I think I'll win, but no, hopefully this weekend will be the one.
Yeah. So next up, it's going to be either Adam Davis or Ronan McCarthy. Adam's currently 10-7 up, so it's looking like it's going to be Adam. You'll have met him loads of times, won't you?
Yeah, played loads of times throughout the years, yeah.
What's your record like?
He's probably beat me more times than I beat him, to be honest. But
you don't care?
No, I don't care. No, that's it. I don't care.
It's just another game.
Yeah. If as long as I don't make too many stupid mistakes, Chippy laughing, I'll be fine.
Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Best of luck for the rest of the event, Tom.
Cheers, Nick.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate.
So there you go. That's Tom Cousins, and what a fantastic performance that was. So we're going to show you that Chris Melling masterclass on breaking, so stick around for that. That's coming up right now, and then we'll be back in the main arena with a quarter-final game. We'll see you soon. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm joined by Chris Melling. Chris, I want to do a little masterclass maybe on breaks. You're one of the best-known breakers in the game. I mean, you've got an absolutely huge break, and I just wanted to maybe sort of dig down and try and find out your approach to breaking and maybe try and drag a couple of your secrets out of you. I know you don't want to let them all go, but maybe for the guys at home, just to give them a little lesson in a little masterclass in how we break. So can we maybe start with the approach, what you're doing in your approach to set up?
Yeah, basically, when you're breaking off, obviously, for me personally, I'm trying to hit the break square and stop the cue ball in the middle of the table. Whether that comes back and stops, goes forward a little bit, it doesn't really matter, because the key is to not scratch on the break, not pop the white ball. And obviously, if you're hitting the centre of the first ball, the red, then you're going to get more contact through the ball, so they're going to break better. So it's very important to break. You want your power to be off your front foot. Yeah. So you kind of break, but you're leaning into the shot. So all your power's going forward. So your power's coming from your legs. Yeah. And I guess it's I'm not comparing pool to boxing, but it's similar to boxing. Your power comes from your legs. Yeah. When they throw a punch, it's all from the legs. So basically, what you're trying to do is obviously control the cue ball. That's the key thing. And what I do see a lot of people is the break from here. Yeah. Some people break from here, here. They break all over. But when you're here, like a friend of mine yesterday, Arfan, from where I practice with him, and he's been struggling with a break. And what's happening is he's trying to create a lot of power through the ball, but through a short space of his cue being off the top rail and to the ball. The longer the distance, the more power you can gain, but you have to be more accurate. Yeah. Now, what Arfan's doing is he's breaking, and his cue ball is virtually going in here or here every single break. And I practiced with him the other day, and he must have broke 7 times in a row, and his cue ball never went any lower or higher than here. So it was bad breaking. Yeah. So he wasn't creating a great break, and it showed because he wasn't putting balls off the break. Now, he played his last match yesterday, and he moved his cue ball forward, which is what I showed him, and broke from there. So he's getting an extra 4 inches or 3 or 4 inches of power. He said, "I've never broke as good in my life." So it just shows you, if you know a little bit about the breaking, it can certainly help your game. And the break shot is the most important shot in the game, especially when there's 2 great players playing. It's like me and Jordan played, and it's all about the break, really. If he makes one and doesn't scratch, it could be a different result, you know. And I mean, I'm going to show you a few things, obviously, how to break, how I break. What I try to do is I aim just slightly up on the Y. Now, there's a little bit of a secret what I use here, because if you're playing on cloth that's brand new, it's going to respond really quick. So basically, when you're playing a screw back, it's going to fly back at 100 mile an hour because it's brand new cloth. When you play with topspin, it won't go through as quick. So you have to aim a little bit higher on the cue ball when you're breaking. Yeah. If you're playing on old cloth, you have to aim a little bit lower on the cue ball. Okay. So a lot of people might not know that, but that's a little secret what I use anyway. I'm not saying it'll work for everybody, but for me personally, that's what I try to do. So when I'm breaking, I'm basically trying to pop this red in this pocket, or this yellow in this pocket. So we'll try a little break, and I just like to break maybe 3 inches to the left of the centre spot. Yep. So, and we just aim, see how my power's going to the front, I'm already forward. So I'm just going to aim a little bit higher up the cue ball. I won't hit it as hard as I can, but try and watch where the red and yellow go. I'm trying to make them 2 balls. So I've scratched there, which is obviously a terrible break. Obviously I've took the power off, which is where I've lost the timing. Yeah. If I hit them as hard as I have been, I'll never scratch in the side pocket because it'll come straight back.
But you saw the wing balls just tracking towards.
Yeah, it was going straight in the middle.
It's certainly heading towards the pocket with the extra power. It's going to make it towards the bag. You've made a ball in the top here, but I mean, ignoring where the cue ball's gone, you've still got a really nice spread of balls.
Yeah, obviously the cue ball's going in the side pocket, so I've not hit the break square. Otherwise, that can't happen. And the yellow was going straight in the middle pocket. So also a thing with the break as well, it depends. We've got the shark rack here, which is, in my opinion, it's a good rack, but it's a leveller for everybody. Yeah. Because certain players can rack the balls better than others, certain referees rack the balls better than others, and certain players, I'm not mentioning no names, will kind of manipulate the rack. Now what I mean by that is they will slightly twist the rack. Yeah. Makes a big difference. Because if you twist it only a little bit, both ways, it can create the ball to go straight in the corner or the middle. So there's a lot of little tricks what people use, and there's tricks to get certain balls touching. Yeah. But obviously with a shark rack, that stops all that.
Yeah.
Because every ball's touching.
Yeah.
So you can't do that. I mean, I could break soft on here, which I'll show you in a moment. And again, this red and this yellow will go very close to the middle pockets, and that's soft breaking.
Yeah.
So it shows you the balls are touching.
Because, I mean, we talked about the power. The power is coming from your body. People talk about timing. Now, we understand timing in a game of tennis, hitting a moving ball, but when you're hitting a stationary ball, just describe what is timing.
Well, timing is what you see a lot of players do, even when they're playing, is they'll hit the ball and they'll stop like that, which is a snatch. That's what we call a snatch. What you want to do is drive through the ball.
Yeah.
So if you notice the difference, the cue's gone through 4 or 5 inches.
Yeah.
So, and that's the same with golf. If you hit the ball and you stop, it's going to go right or left.
Yeah.
But if you go through the ball, it's always going to go straight,
Yeah.
as long as you don't slice it or hook it. And it's exactly the same with the pool. With the pool ball, when you're breaking, you've got to follow through and generate the power, and that's where the power comes from. Is the follow through. But obviously, my cue action's so long, probably the longest in all cue sports.
Yeah.
So I generate a lot of power and a lot of movement on the cue ball.
Yeah.
You see Ronnie O'Sullivan manipulate the cue ball more than anybody at snooker, and better than anybody at snooker. And it's not an easy thing to do. But you also need that timing and cue power to be able to do that.
Yeah. So you mentioned you're breaking from about 3 inches to the left of the centre spot.
Yeah.
Where's your aiming point? Are you looking to aim through the pack, or
yeah, a lot of
just hit the front ball flush?
Yeah, a lot of players, what they do, they actually don't even look at that ball. They look at a spot on the rail, on the cushion.
Yeah.
So for instance, you might see some players put a piece of chalk, like they'll walk up behind the rack and just put a piece of chalk there.
Yeah.
And they break, and all they're doing is aiming at that chalk.
Yeah.
They're not even looking at the rack.
Yeah.
And again, that's a marker for it's cheating, really, because you're marking where you're going to hit. It's like marking the cushion when you're coming out of a snooker.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
You can put your cue there and line it up, but you can't mark the table.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of players do it, and I go mad when they do it because it's blatant cheating, in my opinion. But we'll try a little soft break here.
Yeah, I was going to ask about this because obviously, if your break's not working, now there's other options we can do. We can try and mix it up a bit, can't we? So, how would you adjust when it's not going right?
Well, there's different breaks. You can cut break, for instance. You can break from the side. What happens here, if you break from the left, you're looking to hit this red ball as full as you can, with screw back so it's here and comes straight back into the balls. Now, this works especially at 10 ball. At 8 ball on the American tables.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're heavier balls, so you've got to hit them harder. So what happens is you break, you hit this ball, the cue ball comes back across here, and all the balls from this side there will come off this cushion and go towards this middle pocket.
Yeah.
But what happens a lot of the time is they all congest.
Yeah.
And they stop each other going in off. What also can happen is your cue ball can screw off here and go straight through the middle of them all and go in the middle pocket, which we've seen a lot of times. But it's very important if you're not putting balls on the break to move the cue ball, whether it be here, here, but it will always be on the line when I break. It will never be here, it'll never be here, never be here.
Yeah.
It's always on the line, because that's where I get the timing. So say for instance I break from the middle here, and I'm going to hit these soft, and I'm just going to show you what difference the shark rack can make to a break, because that red and that yellow should go very close to the middles because they're touching.
Yeah.
Very important. Like I said 5 minutes ago, certain players can get the balls touching, good.
Yeah.
Certain players can't. Certain players think you need every ball touching, you don't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to show you which balls need touching, because that's something that I've learned for many years.
Sure.
But a lot of the American pool players, like Cal Boyce, he'll know that break.
Yeah.
But I can virtually guarantee you there's probably, well, I'd say nearly everybody in that room doesn't know that which balls need to be touching.
Yeah.
Because you can't learn it unless you played American
Yeah.
pool. So I'm going to hit these soft, and just watch this red and this yellow. I'm not going to hit them really hard, I'm just going to try and make them in the centre pocket. As you can see, just they're both heading towards the pockets.
Yeah, this one got knocked away, and those two are heading towards, but you're giving yourself the best chance of making balls.
But I'm hitting that so soft.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look at the layout. I mean, it's impossible to miss the reds from there.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't pot the yellows, but the reds are very simple.
Yeah.
So again, that's a soft break which would work on the year, I think.
Yeah.
I've actually hit them too hard because they've come a little bit high.
Sure.
So I need to hit them even softer than that, which is I can't do that though. But what I'll try and do now is I'll show you how I break at full power.
Okay.
and I'll try and control the cue ball, because what I'm trying to do is hit the balls solid, make the white jump and stop like that. That's what I'm trying to do, because then that ball can't going off. What we saw with mining Jordan's game is it was very unfortunate, because it wasn't like he was breaking bad. Jordan's break was basically stunning the cue ball off the back rail and back out. That's how he breaks. But it was getting kissed and going off. So I mean, that's just so unfortunate. That's not something that he can change. It's just bad luck, and it happens sometimes. I'm just lucky it happened against me, I guess.
So thanks to Jay, setting up the balls again, and we're going to see a break from Chris.
So now
at full power.
I'm going to hit these. What I'll do is I'll hit a break how I have been breaking, so not full power, but hard. And then I'll hit one really hard, as hard as I can.
Okay.
And I'll still try and control it, but it won't be easy, because obviously the harder you hit the break, the less control you've got. So I'm going to try and stop the cue ball in the middle of the table. Like that. If you notice, it was stopping there. It got kicked away. It was stopping. You can see the topspin on the ball. If you watch that back in slow motion, you can see it's about to stop in the middle of the table, well, roughly here, which is a perfect break. So now I'm going to hit them as hard as I can. And sometimes what happens, you can hit them too hard. If you watch Phil Harrison break, Phil doesn't hit them hard, but he seems to make a ball every time. Now going back, I'd say going back 5 to 10 years, maybe 10 years, Phil's break was his biggest downfall. He's an unbelievable player, great player. But his break always let him down when it comes to the business end of tournaments. Now we're playing with a rack, and I think Phil's actually learned as well how to set the balls up properly. So he's making balls all the time, and now you see him winning all the tournaments, or a lot of the tournaments. And like I said before, the break's the key. You've got to have a good break, because you can't win if you haven't got a good break, especially against a good player. You know. So this time I'm going to hit this as hard as I can possibly hit it. Oh, nearly has. Watch the camera. See the yellow go straight in the middle? That was the second ball down. So he went straight in. I mean, look at that. You cannot miss them.
Again,
And if you can break like that every break, and you can hold yourself together and you're a good player, there's not many people going to beat you breaking like that.
Chris, that was absolute masterclass as we asked for, and hopefully, guys, that's giving you some great lessons. Thanks very much to Chris the Magician Melling.
Cheers, thanks.
Cheers.